Welcome back to the channel everyone, and welcome to another Category C Zwift race. The race I'm doing today is stage 3 of this month's Zwift Racing Series. I'm not even going to bother to pronounce the name of this route, but the route is 17.4 kilometers long with 280 meters of elevation. So the race actually starts going uphill, which will be very interesting. So the first 5 minutes of the race will be very intense, and then we finish at the top of the Temple KOM, which is a 2.4 kilometer climb with an average gradient of around 4%. So this will be a very interesting race. Race for me starts in about half an hour, so I'm gonna stop talking and get warmed up, and I'll see you in the pen. So here we go with the start of the race. There were 82 riders in this race, so quite a big field. And I luckily looked at the course before because I knew that it slaps you straight in the face. So there we go, straight up a 10% gradient, and we're only 1 minute into the ride. You can see in the right hand corner loads of people are getting dropped off the back already, and now I'm just trying as hard as I can to stay as close to the front as possible. And then you can actually see my power is ridiculously high. I'm basically in VO2 max and over, and my heart rate is almost at 190, and we're only 3 minutes into the ride. And yeah, you can see the pack is really starting to string out now. This was just a complete all-out effort for the first 4 or 5 minutes, and because I looked at the course before, I kind of knew that it would be this intense for the first 5 minutes. Yeah, just making our way to the top of the climb now and just praying for the pace to slow down and get a bit of a breather. So at this point we are over the first climb, so about 5 minutes into the ride now, and I try and give my body a chance to recover. Power slowing down slightly. I do manage to stay in the lead group of riders, which I think is a group of about 40 or 50 of us, so about half the field. There's a few people that have been shot off the back already. And then we get to the first banner. Now, one thing about this course I didn't know was how many power-ups we were getting. Now, I think it is just one more power-up. I can't actually remember. That's what I was thinking at the time. So I get a feather, so I'm basically just trying to preserve the feather for, yeah, when I'm really struggling on a climb, or hopefully save it for that last Temple KOM at the end of the ride. And we go through the second banner, and I don't actually get a power-up. So I use mine because I was thinking if I use this, maybe the other one will pop up, because I know sometimes if you go through a banner and you've already got a power-up, it'll store it next to it, so you'll effectively have 2 power-ups to use. That didn't happen, so I basically wasted my feather and didn't know if there were any more power-ups coming, and spoiler alert, there weren't. So I basically had to do the rest of the ride without that feather, and I really could have done with using it. We're just, just had a little kicker there, and I'm fighting to try and stay with this group. We get to a second little climb here, and again, the same thing. I'm having to, sustain threshold power to basically stay with the riders, and yeah, just carry on now. So we're 15 minutes into the ride, and we're still at threshold. My heart rate is really high, close to 190. And then we get to this, still on this second climb, so just trundling away up here. I remember this like really hurting. My average watts is 228, so pretty high, and I have to get out the saddle there, put a bit of a dig in to not get thrown off the back. Now, at this point I was actually really scared of getting dropped, because you can see it's tailing out in front and there's only 1 or 2 riders behind me. So I thought at this point I was going to get thrown off the back, because there is still a little bit of the climb to go. But I do manage to sustain my power quite well and get back in with the pack, which I was pretty happy with. And yeah, on the left hand side there you can see the Temple KOM, the last climb, is being teased in the left hand corner. So we get up to this climb, which is about 20 minutes into the ride now. This is really hurting. I'm at VO2 max, and again, I'm really close to being thrown off the back. I'm right at the back of the pack. The riders ahead are about 2-3 seconds ahead now, so I'm really having to fight. Again, I'm in just threshold power, VO2 max, really struggling to keep up with them. Just counting down the seconds until we get to the flat section. I get out of the saddle there and give a really big effort there. I've like, yeah, looked at myself in the bottom left and opened my mouth, gritting my teeth at that point. And then now the pack is really starting to string out. We have a small little downhill section, and then we get to this other kicker before another downhill. So at this point, I'm pretty much dropped off the back. There's a few riders that I'm staying with. And yeah, there's a group of about 4 of us that I try and stick with as we get to the top of this kicker. And if you look in the top right, the chances of catching up with the riders ahead are pretty much gone now, which often happens in these Cat C races as I get, you know, more towards the finish. And I basically just chill with these 5 riders until we get to the start of the climb. I actually remember easing off the power a little bit here to try and make those 3 riders go ahead of me so I could, you know, utilize the draft more. But that kind of ended up biting me, to be honest, because those riders actually ended up zooming away from me in the distance. We're at the Temple KOM now, the last climb of the race, and yeah, the gradient, you can just see pretty much a solid red block rather. And you know, I'm pretty much on my own. I can see a few people ahead, which I use as like landmarks to try and get past. So I do manage to overtake this guy almost, but he, yeah, drops a feather, so he's going ahead. And then, yeah, as his feather runs out, I manage to overtake. And then there's a guy on a mountain bike here. I don't know if that's strategic because this part of the course is like off-road. I don't know if that helps at all. But yeah, I'm just kind of using him as a bit of a guide. And yeah, as we carry on further up the climb, we are at the last part of the climb now, so we're about to approach the flat. There's a guy trying to overtake me, but I remember just like really focusing, trying to, you know, stay ahead. You know, my power's really high, heart rate's really high, and now we get to the point where we've got 300 meters to go until the end of the ride. So just carrying on over the bridge now, just wondering if my legs have got enough for a sprint finish, which they probably don't based on how intense this effort's been. I'm just using this guy as a draft and, you know, intending on doing a little bit of a sprint finish and overtaking him. Now, I'm just watching his watts per kilo in the right, and I can see him put an effort in. So I get out the saddle. Well, actually, I stay in the saddle and just give a bit of a sprint to the line. So yeah, end up coming 38th out of 82, which, you know, I was more than happy with. So if you do enjoy this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel as I release Zwift related content on a weekly basis.